In this video, I'm going to show you how to solve systems of equations. This is an Algebra 2 concept, and I'm going to show you using a word problem because this is where a lot of people get stuck. On a certain day, 600 people attended the county fair. Admission for the fair is $5 for adults and $2 for children. If $1,800 was collected that day, how many adults attended the fair and how many children attended the fair? So the first thing you want to do is you have to find how many adults and how many children. So you have two variables that are unknown. So you need to pick letters to use for those variables and decide what they are. So I'm going to use A for number of adults that attended the fair, and I'm going to use C for number of children that attended the fair. It's easy enough to remember. Alright, so if we know that 600 people total attended the fair, that means that our number of adults plus our number of children should equal 600, because that's the total number of people that attended the fair. And also, since it was $5 admission for adults and $2 admission for children, they collected $1,800. For every adult that came in, they got $5, and for every child that came in, they got $2. So that should add up to $1,800. So if you put that into equation, they got $5 for every adult plus $2 for every child for a total of $1,800. Now, that was the hard part. Most students have learned how to solve systems of equations well enough that they can do this part once they get the two equations. But the biggest problem people have is setting up those equations. So if you still don't understand how I got those equations, go back to the beginning and watch that again and see if it makes a little more sense. And if it still doesn't make any sense to you, then please get in touch with me and I will explain it to you. You can leave a question in the comments or you can email me directly. Now, to solve this, there's two different ways to solve systems of equations. And one way is substitution. You solve for one of these variables, like for instance, you would take the first equation, subtract C from both sides, and you get A equals 600 minus C. You would then take that and plug that in for A down here. So that would look like 5 times 600 minus C plus 2C equals 1,800. And then you solve that equation for C, and once you get C, you plug it back in up here and get A. Originally, when I first learned to solve systems of equations, substitution was always easier for me. But now that I've gotten a little better at it, elimination actually tends to be a little bit easier if you know how to do it. So I'm going to show you how to solve using elimination. So to do elimination, you want something in your two equations. You want one of your variables to have the same coefficient, but with an opposite sign. So where this says 5a, you would want this to say negative 5a. Or where this says 2c, you would want this to say negative 2c. We don't have that, but what we can do is, when you have an equation, you can manipulate it any way you want as long as you do the same thing to both sides. So we're going to multiply both sides of this equation by -2. That will give us -2a minus 2c equals -1,200. Because -2 times a is minus 2a, -2 times c is minus 2c, and -2 times 600 is -1,200. Alright, now we use these two equations here, and since these two are equal but opposite, if we just add these two equations together, those two will cancel each other out, or they will eliminate each other. That's why it's called elimination. So 5a plus -2a is 3a, and 2c minus 2c is 0. 1,800 minus 1,200 is 600. Now you divide both sides by 3, and you get a equals 200. So the number of adults that attended the fair that day was 200. Now you can go back to either one of your original equations, either this one or this one. This one probably would be the easiest, and plug that 200 in for the a. So you get 200 plus c equals 600, and you solve for c, and you get 400. So the number of children that attended the fair that day was 400. I hope that makes sense, and if you have any questions about this, please feel free to get in touch with me. You can leave a comment or message me directly or email me directly. I'll give you my email address really quick. That's andrew@avmathcoach.com. And also, do not forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel for more videos like this.